Hey, what's up friends, Moses here from Driver Success. I hope you guys are doing well. I just came by here at Walmart but wanted to make this video real quick before I get back home. I had made a video a couple of videos ago, maybe about 2 or 3 videos back, and I was asking you guys what one thing you would change or you would want to see an improvement in. I believe only Casey replied, left a comment on that video, and Casey talked about his desire is to see JB Hunt do periodically look at our pairs, intermodal drivers, and then make some adjustments. And I do agree with him, and I'm gonna make a video giving my 2 cents concerning that issue. But I just wanted to share with you today what my one thing that I kind of wish that companies and the industry would think about concerning drivers. When we come into the trucking industry, as a driver, we put in a lot of hours. We work, it's almost like the minimum is 12, right? Most of us put in more than 10 hours a day. And for those, of course, that are over the road, they leave their families, and even though they maybe put in 10 or 12 hours of working, technically because they are away from home, it's like you should count the days they are away from home. And I think when we come in as drivers, one of the things that I see is we don't have the time to do something else or to build on our careers or look for anything else. As an example, for somebody who works in another career who puts in maybe like 8 hours a day, or even if they put in 9 hours a day or so, they could go back home and maybe they could find like a night class where like they come, they work 8 hours, and then they go do a night class into maybe advancing their career or into something else they want. As drivers here in the trucking industry, that can be really, really tough, because our days we are expected to put in a lot of hours. We are talking about 12 plus hours. The way I look at it as an industry is like when they hire you as a driver, they expect you to stay as a driver. What I would really want the industry to look at is ways on how drivers can advance their careers within the industry or within companies. Now, I know that not everyone is going to want to do something else, but at least there should be those options, because I know, of course, there are people who just love to drive and they don't dream of doing anything else. But then there are other people who may want to do something else. That may be something within the management, hold on, there's this guy. What was I saying? I was saying that the industry should look at how to have like kind of, I don't know if I should call it a ladder, through which a driver can have options. When you come in as a driver in the industry, there should be options where you can be able to advance yourself within the company or within the industry. I'm going to use JB Hunt as an example. I know they have like a training, I think they call it managers in training. I have to look at that. I don't know if actually they still have it, but I think they do, where they hire people that are out of maybe like college, maybe they have a 4-year degree or something like that. They come in and they train them to become managers. I wish companies like JB Hunt, these big companies that have such programs, they would figure out a way to train drivers. Even though they don't have like a 4-year degree, there should be a way whereby it's almost like a technical school, a technical training, because they are already in the industry. They understand some of this stuff like driving trucks, what the driver goes through. I think companies like JB Hunt should think of putting programs where they can train drivers from within, where a driver could be able maybe like to work. If they are interested in the program, let them come in, drive maybe for some time, maybe like they drive for 8 hours and then they spend maybe like 2 or 4 hours in a class going through training, or in the office going through training. Or it should be that they come in for say like instead of 5 days, maybe they come in for 3 days as drivers, 2 days as training. Or I believe drivers are even willing to come in on a 6th day. So it should be like you come in maybe like 4 days driving, 2 days training as to become a manager. I mean, let there be programs where they give options to drivers to develop within that company. And when you have such programs, I believe it helps people to be excited about the industry. It will help in recruiting, because if somebody knows that there is something to look forward to, that could be something they would be interested in. There are many things, I think, where a driver that is interested should have an opportunity to advance their career. Because what I've seen in this industry, when we think about trucking as drivers, the only thing you do is if you are tired of driving, you are either going to get out of the industry, try and look for something else. But again, you haven't been going to school because of the way the system is set up, where most of the time you are on the job. You don't have time to develop your other desires like a career. The other thing that I've seen drivers do is the way they advance themselves. They move from becoming a company driver to a lease operator or an own operator. That's how they look at the only option to advance. But I think that shouldn't be the only option. The industry shouldn't just leave drivers to be drivers for 20 years, 30 years, or just quit the industry and leave. I think the industry needs to think about how to help drivers develop, because from interacting with drivers, I know there are drivers that are really talented in some areas. So to me, it shouldn't be that to advance your career as a truck driver is just for you to become a trainer, or to become a lease operator, or to become an own operator. There should be programs that the industry can think of where they can train people to work their way up. Maybe one day become even like top management within the company. It should be a place where somebody can say, I started out as a driver, and within the company I was trained to become, maybe like one time maybe they should say, I am now the CEO of the company. There are ways, I think, that the industry can show an interest in drivers, so that those people that have the desire to do something else don't just quit the industry to go look for something else, but that they get excited about the industry and see how to get into management positions, into other places within the company, and just build on that. And I think that starts with the company coming up with those programs. I believe if they can invest in the driver, even if it means putting in money, but you invest in the people that work for you, I believe as the industry we can attract more people. Because when you think about it, we spend a lot of money on recruiting, and then drivers quit. I think sometimes it's because they don't see a way out. Now, again, as I said, there are those that just love to drive, and for those that just love to drive, they don't see themselves doing something else, then that's where the pay comes in. I'm going to make another video giving my 2 cents about the pay. But then for those that may want to advance beyond the driver, the industry needs to start thinking about those programs. I believe when companies think about that, then they will be able to attract people at all times. They may not have to spend as much as they do in recruiting, because somebody can see that when they become drivers, there is a ladder to climb to other things other than just being a driver. That has been my frustration with the industry. That has been something that I'm hoping and I'm wishing trucking companies and the industry can start thinking about, so that instead of hiring managers from college, they can train drivers and people within the company to become managers and make their way up. What are your thoughts?